Peace, everyone. Welcome to Chosen Lifelines for Men. My name is Walter Jennings, and I am a Chosen Life Specialist where I have been called to challenge and, if necessary, help you to change your motivation, mentality, and your mettle. Today, I want to talk to you about laziness. Now, lazy is a word that is immediately offensive when you hear it out of everyone else's mouth but your own. It's okay for other people. It's okay for you to call yourself lazy, but it's another thing when other people call you lazy. So today, when we think about having a mentality of laziness, laziness is an unwillingness to spend energy. It is a reluctance to perform tasks we perceive to be difficult or uncomfortable. When we settle into a place that we don't have the motivation, where we don't have the drive to actually do some of the things that we need to do, or some of the things that other people may want us to do when it comes to chores around the house, when it comes to certain duties on our jobs, when it comes to certain things in the community where we see a need and we know that it's something that we have the skill set and we have the ability to be able to do it, or at least engage it, and we refuse to actually do that. That is when laziness begins to set in. Now, you probably heard millions of times that people are actually lazy by nature, and there is some truth to that. So humans are generally lazy by nature. We don't like to spend a lot of effort, and that is why we've seen the advancements that we've seen over the years. Part of the whole process of innovation and ingenuity was man actually trying to make things easier. Now, those advancements were actually based on the basic human instinct, which is survival. So humans, when we go all the way back to the beginning of time, one of our number one goals in life was to ensure survival. If we didn't have to work, no one would work. But part of the reason why you go to work or should have a job is because you want to make sure that you have money to pay your bills so that you can have utilities and the things you need to do what? To survive. But we want to, once we do that, once we secure our survival, once we have a livelihood, once we have a way to actually take care of ourselves, we can still fall into a place of laziness. It affords us the chance to actually turn our attention away from survival towards immediate rewards, towards that instant gratification, or a simple word for that is happiness. When you look at the word happiness, it just means something that happened in the moment. So we look for happiness, which is oftentimes fleeting, because it's really about what is happening. And so we're trying to stay in a place where we keep good things happening. So that instant gratification, making sure even we put the onus of our happiness on other people, which is setting them and us up for failure, because the things that oftentimes make us happy shift by the moment. Some of the things that I want that would make me happy in this moment may be totally different 2 or 3 hours from now. So no one can make you happy consistently. You have to be the one that takes charge in order to make you happy. And oftentimes that comes with us refusing to just settle into just instant gratification and those immediate rewards. So because we've evolved from the focus on survival into our immediate rewards, any behavior that is not instantly rewarding to us, we perceive it to be unfruitful, and then we decide not to do those things. And so that ultimately leads to laziness. So some of the psychological causes of laziness, the first is a lack of interest. So the best way to ensure that you stick with something for a long time is to be passionate about that, about whatever it is. That way, even when you exert a lot of energy, you'll find yourself with renewed energy levels. So there is a great saying that says, if you do what you love, then you'll never work a day in your life. So the question becomes, what is that thing that if money was no object, if you didn't have to pay bills, if you didn't have utilities and responsibility, if money wasn't an issue, what is it that you could find yourself getting up to do every day? And so you want that to actually be the pursuit of what it is that you're doing, because that's going to continue to keep you motivated and to keep your energy up and to have a mentality that fights against being lazy because you're staying productive and busy. The second thing is a lack of purpose can lead to laziness. So this is important in you identifying your why. So we talked about your interests, but why are you here? Why have you been placed on this earth to accomplish what it is what are you here and intending to do? So things that we find interesting hold a special meaning for us, and that's what makes us interested in those things in the first place. But why do we assign special meaning to those things? In other words, what do you get out of the things that you're interested in? We do it because they feel a purpose and they feel a desire inside of us. Something that actually fulfills us is an important part of helping us to avoid and stay away from laziness. The third one is having a lack of self-efficacy. Now, self-efficacy means our belief in our ability to get things done. So a lack of self-efficacy may induce laziness, because if we don't believe that we can actually finish a task, then why would we start it in the first place? If we set out to do a project or something that we don't believe that we can accomplish and do, then that actually demotivates us from being able to push forward with some of the challenges that we encounter when it comes to that particular thing. No one wants to spend energy doing things that they don't believe that they can do. So self-efficacy develops when we consistently do things that are difficult. So that means we need to be challenging ourselves. Even though we may have secured our survival, even though we may have achieved a certain level of success in our life, we want to constantly challenge ourselves to make sure that we're building up our self-efficacy. And lastly, one of the other causes of laziness could be self-deception. Now, I want you to stick with me on this one, because this is pretty interesting. So sometimes out of a fear of failure, you might give an excuse of being lazy when in fact it's just that you're afraid of failing at something. You're afraid of attempting it, and admitting that you failed or that you're afraid could hurt your ego. And that's the last thing that your subconscious mind wants, to hurt your ego and disturb your philosophical, your psychological balance. It's easier to say that you didn't accomplish something because you're lazy. Remember, we talked about that earlier, that we're okay with saying that we're lazy, but we have challenges with other people saying that we're lazy. And it's oftentimes easier for us to say that, hey, I didn't do it because I was lazy, rather than admitting that we didn't try harder because we were afraid of failing. So it's important for us to really analyze the challenges that come along to combating laziness, to making sure that we're challenging ourselves and pushing ourselves past the instant gratification, past just wanting to be happy, past just surviving, and really cultivating that self-advocacy and walking in our purpose, and making sure that we are walking in our things that interest us. Listen, you all, thank you so much for joining me for this Chosen Life for Men moment. Please be sure to reach out to us at chosenlifespecialist.com. Book a session. I would love to talk with you more about your purpose and the things you're interested in, and helping you to be more fulfilled in your life's work and walk. My name is Walter Jennings from Chosen Life Specialist, where I've been called to challenge and, if necessary, help you to change your motivation, your mentality, and your mettle.